Welcome everybody to another episode of Uneducated MMA. I'm your host with the most, Wanderbread. Glad to bring you another episode, and as always, I'm joined by the BMF champion of the world, REG. And I just got a notification that this Justin.
Happy Cinco de Mayo, y'all.
Oh yeah,
Happy Cinco.
Man.
You don't know we are recording this on Cinco de Mayo. This episode will come out sometime this week, but Cinco de Mayo today.
Everybody take a shot.
Yeah, we celebrated.
There you go. Let's get it.
Salute,
We'll start it off
salute,
right.
salute,
Let's start it off right.
salute. Are you ready?
Orale.
I want to write it down just because I had to get it correct.
Sure.
Cinco de Mayo is an annual celebration held on May 5th to celebrate Mexico's victory over the Second French Empire at the Battle of Puebla in 1862, led by General Ignacio. Ignacio's a great name.
Yeah.
We talked Ignacio Bahamundes, UFC.
Yeah.
Talked about that. Ignacio, crazy name.
Ignacio's crazy.
Now this one I might need to take another shot for. Ignacio Zaragoza.
Oh.
Man, we can't name that,
I think
bro.
I got
something
that.
legendary.
That's a fire name. But yeah, for all you people that thought it was like, what is it, Independence Day?
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie to you. I thought that it was that for a long time.
Pretty much my whole life.
I thought it was just
Right.
tequila. Day,
You know what it was? I think it was last year when I got my third ever heat check champion.
Woo.
That it was on Cinco de Mayo, I believe, that we did that episode where that's where I found out that it wasn't Independence Day. I may or may not have been part of the reason that the rules have changed since then. You know what I mean? You gotta figure out, like, after a while, you're like, oh, he does them near the holidays. Looking up what holiday it is, you know what I mean? And you find out some facts. Right when you look it up, it'll be right there.
You think, like, the French hate Cinco de Mayo?
I don't know, man. I feel like it's the same thing like you. Do you think
Fuck the beat. It's that
Yeah.
good.
Still, they always getting washed.
every Independence Day, there's got to be someone hating if you think about it.
Damn, we
This,
almost had him too.
No, they didn't.
the UK has like 40 of them that they're just out there every
French-
other day hating.
Yeah.
The French had like almost conquered everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But almost.
Almost.
Yeah.
Sacre blues.
Yeah.
In a different world, we'd all be speaking that. Isn't that crazy?
Crazy. Imagine they did. It wasn't England.
Yeah.
It's like a multiverse. You know what I mean? Like Marvel, you go into another
We'd
portal,
all still be in DR.
Yeah. Shut up.
Yes.
a different Juan.
Yeah.
A different one.
I feel like if I stayed in DR, it'd be a more peaceful life.
Yeah. I felt like I would have been such a good kid.
It depends what part of DR.
I don't know. I feel like where my family's from, I feel like we'd be chilling. You know what I mean? I wonder what I would be doing.
I don't think this rap music would influence me.
No.
Dembo would.
Oh, okay.
Dembo. Actually, I think
But-
that would be. Yeah, I feel like you would still find it, but it would be through that. Although that was like, yeah, I feel like Dembo was like.
Dembo would.
But it's not the same way where you're like, Lil Wayne's the shit. I'm trying to be like Lil Wayne.
You don't think you'd be a bachatero? That wouldn't be your calling.
That's in good spirit.
You're like, you ain't talking about REG, the one with the weed up down the street.
Yeah.
Yo, but that's a good spirit. That's like, oh, that's good people's.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But
I don't know. People still listen to Wayne out there. Probably just not as much. Wayne everywhere, just like Snoop Dogg.
You could really have aspired to then move to the States because you wanted to be like Lil Wayne, the first Dominican in like Louisiana, representing.
bad Puerto Ricans out there too.
Is it really? We were out there in New Orleans. I didn't
I didn't
see not a one.
That's what they keep on saying. Kevin Gates, I think, is like half Puerto Rican.
Kevin Gates from there? Anyway, we're here to talk about UFC 315.
Yeah, let's break it down. Let's get it.
Yeah.
No
Let's
small
get
talk,
it.
no small talk. Anyway, we're here to talk about UFC 315. Belal Muhammad versus Della Maddalena.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, that's another one. Try that one. JDM is why they abbreviate that one because that one's hard to say at the broadcasting
Yeah.
table.
Oh, damn.
Does it really?
That is a dilemma.
JDM Insurance. I like it. I'm excited for this one. This one is going to be a good one. I know a lot of people, forget the name, but you better remember the name, Belal
Yeah, don't
Muhammad.
forget.
The
Wait,
champ
who?
is here, bro. Yeah, every time, man.
Belal?
Every time. Got to make that joke, man. Every time. I'm not going to lie to you.
Try
I
to
feel
hide
you
him
on that
'cause
one.
He likes Palestine.
No facts. Yeah, I saw that was like a news thing that hit the MMA. It hit like MMA everywhere where they're just like, oh yeah, they let him add the flag back. What do you mean let him add the flag back?
Yeah.
What do you mean let him add the
Everybody
flag?
gets their flag,
Yeah.
there, right?
You're like, nah.
You're from Chicago, right? He's like, but.
He's like, yeah, but I rep. He's like, you don't rep Chicago, right?
Yeah, Chicago, right?
You can have the state flag on there. You're the first person with
Don't
the
let me
state
call
flag.
security again.
Yo,
That video gets me every time.
Every time, bro. How could you be the champ?
You know what
First,
it is?
not get through security.
Do you think,
and
like-
be the champ?
You should I feel like if you're the champ, you gotta show. I mean, to be fair, there's gonna be other people with them, but I feel like if you're the champ, you pull up with your belt, right? You gotta. It's like
You're
your
literally
it's your
after
security badge. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah.
no,
Yeah.
it's me.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I mean? Like this is me.
Nah, security
Casual
would have been like, "Where'd you get that belt?" You
That's
know?
what I'm saying.
Casual wear, fucking walks in.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, you're sitting usually in like a spot with a lot of other fighters. There are other people that are also in there that are like celebrities or whatever it might be, people with bread. But like at the same time, like if you see a squad of fighters and one of them got a belt and maybe the other one got a belt, there's like 2 or 3 that with a belt. You're like, these are probably champions in other divisions, right?
Yo, I was gonna say, do you think since even though they're not fighting that day, like they still get paid to show up, or they have to like pay to
No.
sit there, or they don't even have to pay to sit there? They just already
The only ones that like you would be paid to sit there, and I think it's like, I mean, it's a weird job because there's a chance, but it's the ones that sign up to be the backup fighter that don't end up fighting.
Yeah.
They technically get paid to be there.
Or it's like you also want to like promote yourself in case like
Well, that's what I
depending
think
on
they
who
pull up.
wins, and be like, no, I want to talk smack and like promote and be like, nah,
Just show him for
that
a
was
second.
yeah, that was trash. Yeah, you know how they always show.
No, for sure. I
Or
mean,
if they might show Iceman like geeked up.
Yeah.
You know?
those are always funny when they show it to the crowd and one of them clearly is not ready. He's like,
Yeah.
you're like, no, you're fine. You're good. Yeah, I feel like they gotta give them a couple of tickets. You know what I mean? You gotta give them a couple tickets, have them in the crowd. That way, like after like a champion either wins or loses, the other guy comes into the octagon and gets that face off. Sometimes they don't end well, like Belal when they try to get him in. It just didn't feel right. I don't think he's that guy.
It's awkward.
Yeah.
I don't think he's that guy. Honestly,
No, he's in the ring now.
yo, he's gotta be like a more friendly dude. I feel like he just gotta be like, can't wait for this fight. It's gonna be great. You know what I mean? And just let his performance speak for himself.
Nah, he should have put that security guard in like a sleeper hold or something.
Should have.
Oh, you don't know me? Okay, I'll show you.
Nah, what do you mean sleeper hold? Canelo hands now. That's what he's about. He's about those Canelo hands.
That's the thing. Like sometimes, like don't let these.
Speaking about Canelo though, since we dropped it,
Yep.
Right.
Dana, Uncle Dana, he wants to help
We'll see.
promote that.
I think that now you can clearly see that he wants to get into boxing heavy. I don't know when they're gonna officially come out with their own promotion or if they're going to or like how that's gonna look.
He's
But
bored of all these wrestlers. He's trying to see some striking.
I feel like he's already making enough with the bag with UFC, and he's like, all right, I can already control this well enough. I see they're making bread over here, even though it's not as entertaining with these last boxing fights. Were not as entertaining. With Haney, the Ryan Garcia, even the Canelo fight. The dude Canelo was fighting was
he was
running
the
all
whole fight.
yeah, running
what I
around the
heard.
entire time, bro.
Yeah.
Whack.
But I watched the replay because I didn't get to watch it.
Yeah.
I watched it the next day, and even the replay that was shortened, like it was so
Did
bored
you-
I couldn't finish it.
did you see the video where it was like the replay of like the highlights, but it was like sped up and it was insane how much of it was just him just running backwards, just like
Yeah, Canelo was literally pacing and walking towards him the entire fight.
I love that
And-
he's always moving forward.
Yeah,
like
always moving forward. Like he did his part, but the other dude just kept running around. But he still got the bag to run around, but not to win the fight, bro.
That's whack.
That's crazy.
I feel like
If I was fighting Canelo, I'd
'Cause
do the same.
'cause
But
the-
that's not what I want
what's
to watch as a
What's that Arabian guy that be putting that money up?
Turkey Al Sheikh.
Yeah, he put mad money up just to make no bread off that. Really, like just to see them fight in the middle of Times Square. Freaking
Yeah. This dude pulled up in the Batmobile though. That was probably the coolest thing out of everything.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, bro, that fight wasn't even all that.
That's the thing. It's like, yo, we thought we could get like great fighters out here
Yeah.
to do like a great show out in public, and then they
How you mess it up, bro?
they pull up some boring ass shit.
I think it just comes down to the fighter not really wanting to be in that fight, or just knowing that they're just gonna get paid either way, and they're just like, why would I get knocked out when I know I'm gonna get this bag?
Yeah.
Sometimes, do you think that that's kind of like a problem when it comes to like these guys getting these crazy checks, these crazy bags that they're not performing as they should?
Yeah,
Is
because
it's like
it's like they're not fighting for. I don't know. Like I don't know if it's like pretty much like how Islam was saying when he was talking about the BMF belt.
Mhm.
He's like, that BMF belt, like I don't really care about that belt. That belt's nothing. He wants the championship belt. He wants legacy.
Yeah.
They're fighting for legacy, which is different compared to I'm getting the check. If I already got the check, why'd I gotta perform as high? I already got the check.
That is true. Speaking of the BMF belt, they're looking to get rid of the BMF belt after this, so
Time.
I think it's time. I think it's one of those things that we always get that brought up into like our conversations, and I would say most of the time we have the thing of why fight for it. When you think about it, our conversations always kind of lean for like, well, who's gonna take it? But like, why? I mean, if you're gonna throw it in, like, who's gonna? But why?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It always
Why
goes
is it
back
not
to like
included
why.
in
Yeah.
This one and why is it?
I think it just makes things confusing. I think as cool as it was for the time it
Let me
was,
keep it
Yeah.
where it belongs.
Yeah, exactly.
so then you got to fly out to Louisiana for that fight, and you got to stand in the crowd, and when they win, you got to challenge the winner, so that way you can walk away with it.
Yo,
Who's the
I'm
next?
still
Who's the
cursed
next?
from the last
Who's
Who
the
do you-
next fight for the BMF? Then?
It's Dustin Poirier, Max Holloway.
Oh, that's supposedly going to
announced.
be the last
No,
one.
no,
right?
no. That's announced, and that's
Yeah.
going to supposedly be the last BMF belt, but it is officially Dustin Poirier's retirement fight, which is
I
going to be
like it.
really
Supposedly.
sad.
It is
That's
gonna
going to
be
be a
sad.
hard. That's going to be one that I'm just going to be like, I don't know who I want to win,
Yeah.
but I don't know who I want to lose, and
Exactly.
I don't.
It feels like I'm getting old when you're seeing like your favorite fighters or even NBA players. Like when they say LeBron's retiring, I don't know if that's happening either. But even Poirier or even I don't know, bro. It feels like we're all getting old. All these
I mean, it's like
fighters we know.
that's
are
the way.
retiring.
That's the way it goes, man. You follow the careers. You start seeing these guys get older as you do, and you know what you do. You start paying attention to the new crop that come in, and that's what you do.
Yeah.
You just, as a fan, you just kind of pay attention to the new guys. You see them come in, and you start watching these prelims. You
part
see
of
who
the
the
game. It's
who
part
the
of the
younger
game.
ones are, and you get into that because like I feel like a lot of the bigger names as we've had these conversations, even as like I've said like. Watching it as like a lot of people came in at the same time around like COVID and the pandemic and whatnot.
Yeah.
A lot of those guys were already older than
Yeah.
most
Yeah,
of
I
the
get
guys that we see now. So like we are only a few years in, and now we're seeing a lot of them retire or be retired, I should say. And it's just it's the nature
Especially
of the
with
game.
fighting, it's only a few years during prime time.
Yeah.
After that,
All the fighters that I grew up fighting are definitely gone now.
yeah.
Thinking of watching Rashad Evans and the
Yep.
Yeah.
I watched his whole career.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of those guys now are doing like boxing events and things like that.
I
Or
remember watching Roy.
you don't
Jones
want to
Jr.
see the other ones go into like
Yeah, it's like don't even bring that name up right now.
That broke my heart when I was younger too.
Yeah.
When he lost that. He was fighting.
Nah, but it'd be like that though. But all right, so who would y'all say is the new young face for UFC? Is it like Patty, or who would be like a new young face?
I think
O'Malley?
we had
Or
this
still
we
like
had this
OGs?
conversation kind of a couple episodes ago where we were
It's
talking
tough.
like who's going to be like the
nerd
superstar, and I
Yeah.
feel like well
it could be, it could
that's
be.
a good group right there. I will say
That
the
is.
Fighting Nerds is definitely a good group right there.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that there's a few. Patty's not a bad one. Patty the Baddie, see what I did there?
Yeah. Like the next UFC game, who would you see on the cover?
I hope no one that you like, because that seems to be a curse right now. Anybody
Yeah.
that ends up on that cover ends up losing real bad.
Just
I-
'cause,
I feel like there's a couple of guys, because here's the thing is that like what do you consider like to be like the younger guys? Because I feel like anybody that's going on the cover has to be somebody that's at least in like probably like
Yeah,
their 30s already, because they're probably already like a big name, has had a couple fights in the UFC,
Yeah, true.
that kind of thing. I feel like Ilya Topuria is probably going to be somebody that's going to end up on the cover.
I can see Topuria on the cover.
Prohaska. Yuri's not. I feel like he's like
Put him on the cover.
34.
Just,
Nah.
that's a safe one. That
Nah.
if he falls off,
Put him on the back of the game. On the back of the-
I don't want anybody I like to get
Going
cursed.
over this past weekend, somebody who was who's younger that I would say a lot of people thought was going to be the face of the UFC in a couple of years is going to be Bo Nickel, and we just saw him get
Yeah, what the
quote
hell?
unquote front
yeah, what
check.
happened to
That-
Bo?
I don't know.
The
I don't know what you wanna
knees,
call it.
bro.
That was definitely
That was
something else.
crazy.
I mean, listen.
That was crazy. The
I feel like
knees?
with Bo Nickel, he has a lot of hype on his name, but you have to understand the people that he were fighting weren't like big name people. So like they
Yeah.
were just like whatever. It's like not in the sense that they weren't anybody good.
Just
they were
the way
professional
that
fighters,
he,
but
like,
like my dude
lost
wasn't
that
doing anything
fight.
crazy.
But he was just really like
I don't know. He
He's
seemed a little
just-
off. I
he's-
thought he was.
I don't know if he's
seemed-
off,
something
bro.
was off,
I'm
yeah.
gonna be honest
He
with
should
you.
have tried
Listen,
more submissions with that.
I
with that guy.
haven't seen him do anything that was like.
Spectacular. Like,
Yeah,
I
or,
get you.
or more so, I would say like dominating. So, for
Okay,
example, I'll give you
okay.
like the guy who he keeps chirping about, Hamzat. Hamzat was like, I guess, kind of talked about when he pulled up, but nothing too crazy, and he just started murdering people, and that's when it was like, dear God, like
Yeah,
what is
fact.
going on? So then with Bo Nickel, it was like a lot of talk about all this wrestling and this and the third, but he just kept striking, he just kept fighting.
That's what I'm
people.
saying. He didn't use his wrestling to his advantage. I
He
don't- I
did
don't-
when
I
it was
don't
like the what is it, the not the Ultimate Fighter, what is it, the Contender Series, the Contender Series.
Earlier, yep.
Yeah, the Contender Series. When he was in the Contender Series, he was doing really well with that stuff. But I will say, like, once he started getting to the UFC, he got comfortable clipping one or two people, and he just started sticking to that.
Yeah, it's like
he had
that.
like a submission, but like other than that, I don't know. I just feel like I never put
nickel.
I never saw the thing that was like. this guy right here is something.
No, there was a couple fights when I was like, damn.
I would say
remember.
Brian Battle is somebody that I think is on the younger
Didn't
side.
He, the fight before that was supposed to be like an easy dub, and he kind of struggled a little bit.
Yeah, let's see.
Let's pull up Bo Nickal's card because I feel like not the fight before, but the fight before that one, Bo Nickel did good.
Well,
which one was his last knockout?
I've only seen like 2 of his fights, I think.
He's gotten a couple of like early finishes. So the last one he did was Paul Craig, and he got tested pretty bad in that one. I would say that's the one that you were talking about.
Paul
And
Craig,
then before that, he submitted Cody Brundage in round 2. Yeah.
All right. What about before that one? Was there a knockout that he did before that one?
Yeah. So there was the one that he did against what was his name? Val Woodburn, I think was his guy's name, something like that. And he like knocked him out like I think round 1. It was like quick, and everybody was like, "Oh, this is."
I think that's when he got like all the hype on him.
Yeah. Let me see.
We got more hype.
Yeah. He knocked out Val Woodburn in 38 seconds in round 1 at UFC 290.
Yeah.
he hasn't even really shown that yet.
No, that's
and
good.
That was in 2023. I mean, listen, it was that. This is his first loss ever, so like you got to put respect on that.
Yeah.
Submission, KO, submission,
It's just the way
the
he
decision,
lost
and then
was
KO.
kinda like-
I mean, I don't. Yeah, I don't know what happened with that. I feel like RDR Rene DeRitter just kind of like handled him.
Yeah.
I feel like there wasn't any moment where I was watching that fight where I was like, oh, Bo Nickal's like, in this, and then the tides kind of turned. It was like, no, he was just kind of on his ass the whole time.
Yeah.
Pause. Yeah, throw it in there.
Wait.
Just in case. I don't know. I'd be hearing production staff over there in the background saying stuff here and there, so I got to be careful. Yeah, I feel like with Bo, I think it's just one of those things where he found somebody that is of note, somebody who's a higher caliber fighter than what he's used to fighting, and it is one of those things where you can say the term fraud check. I don't know if I'd say that, but I don't know. For me,
you just had a lot of hype on him. That's all.
dude, it's these things of like you got a lot of hype, and then also like if you're known to be this big whatever in whatever field of combat, do that thing. Like if you're that good at it, do the thing. If you're that good of a wrestler, wrestle.
Bro,
if you're that good of a striker,
all this
strike.
Like your whole life practicing this.
But then again, it's like you don't want to not only not be known for that. It's good to be known for that, but you don't want to have the other fighter assume you're gonna do that. Like right now,
who cares? If you're that good at it, it's the game of you try to stop me. It's the same thing.
So like right now, Belal,
bro, you hear
next fight, you think
you
he's
hear
gonna do a submission?
Magomedov or something like that on the
that's
title.
why I don't like to hear that he's gonna Canelo hands. It's like, bro,
he don't have Canelo hands.
Like,
He's gonna
bro,
be submission.
stop trying to prove.
Did you watch the fight? Did you watch the fight with Sean Brady? Did you watch the Sean Brady fight? Go back and watch the Sean Brady fight. He got hands. You can't tell me he doesn't got hands.
Does have hands.
I don't know about Canelo hands.
I was
I don't know about
impressed
Canelo
by his
hands, but
I didn't think it was that good. But I want to see Canelo hands for sure.
Here,
But what I'm saying is just like stop like trying to prove the public like stop trying to prove everybody that you can do it and just do what you're good at. Like
I guess it's also a part of the game of like we always talk about entertainment
Wanna get
versus
knocked
like
out.
ranking.
Yeah,
because you also want to be entertaining.
I want to see entertainment. Like,
Yeah.
like I understand. Like
Yeah.
try to show your hands if you want to show your hands, but you know at
He's
the end
good
of
with the
day-
wrestling and he's good with the grappling, but we're not going to sit here and act like he's dumping people on their heads like he did with Leon Edwards. I will say that. Askers. But for the most part, I really haven't seen him like. That's why I think people think he's like boring. Is because I haven't really seen him do anything too crazy. And then
That's
also
what
like
got
ground
him
and
the
pound
wins.
isn't
That's
really
what got
anything
him
crazy
the
there.
chip. If you're in any danger trying to beat Canelo, go back to what you're good
Yeah,
at.
exactly. It'll come back instantly.
Just go back to
Win. At the end of the day, win.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, just win.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know, man. As fans, it's kind of boring though. No.
A little bit. Yeah.
I wouldn't.
If you're in there,
of
just
course,
win.
It doesn't
But
have
as
to be though.
fans-
It doesn't have to be though. Like you can. Here's my thing. We've seen plenty of wrestlers take someone down, get in a half guard, and just beat the shit out of somebody.
true.
I'm
Exactly.
talking elbows,
But
knees, like they're throwing fists,
I love
whatever
seeing
opportunity.
that
Like,
if you're doing something.
Yeah.
Like sometimes,
but that's what I'm saying.
He's
Like
just be
you just
holding
gotta
too much
do
or
something with
exactly.
it. And he doesn't. I think where he focused on was like the striking because he needed it. To be fair, you need that to just in case you get caught up. But I will say like. I don't know. It's weird because he is getting better on the feet. So at the same time, I want to see that progression, but also on the other side of the coin, I want to see him focus on what he's good at and win. Because here's my thing: JDM hits hard, and JDM is he's good on the feet. He's good at striking. I'd say overall, I would say like
so he should not use his
kickboxing, I would
Canelo
say, is
hands
more-
against JDM.
No, I think he should.
He should.
I think it should be a scrap for
Yeah,
multiple
right.
reasons.
I always
A,
want to see a scrap.
I think he can knock him out. I think
Okay.
I think Belal can knock him out. B, I think it's just good for his image because here's my thing. I think slowly people are starting to turn into Belal fans. I think that there's still this like thing of like enjoying to
Slowly.
hate on him. Yeah, slowly for sure. I think there's this thing of people enjoying to hate on him, but like, come
I
on, dude,
like
you
Belal.
can't hate on the record. You can't hate on the list of names he's beaten.
Exactly.
It makes you feel uncomfortable when he's just like, "Who has GSP fought? And look who I fought. Me and him are right there." That makes you a little uncomfortable to hear. But other than that, like he's doing pretty good.
He is. He is.
I'd say he's killing it. I think he got JDM. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like he got JDM.
Like just him being a product of like Dagestan in some way.
He went there for like one camp.
Yo, but that's all you need. That's, you know what it is? Yo, I swear, he came back like a superhuman.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know what
Send
it
your
is?
son.
I think it was
that's what happened.
I think it's
he
a-
was the son.
Yeah.
Was
2-3
their
years.
son.
Yeah, that's it.
one
Just
phone call.
Send your son.
I think it was a mix
He'll
of
be
things.
champion.
I think it's the skills that he learned, but then also I think it's the discipline. That's something that I think that's what puts them above other people. Is that like that's why I say
Dedication, bro.
whenever we talk about like, oh, it's a Dagestani fighter or something like that, it's like, whoa. Are they from Dagestan? And then specifically are they at Khabib's camp? Because those dudes are doing something different. Because you can be from the same area, but you're not from the same camp. And I feel like there's like a level of like dedication and sacrifice that they put into like their craft. That's why they're as good as they are and as dominant as they are. But they also go in and they're entertaining. Anybody that comes out of there is entertaining. They're very dominant. They'll go for the finish. They don't want to be there long.
I love that takedown defense. Like, the fact that
You just stuff one. Someone just tries to get you and you just nah.
relentless like balance.
Yeah.
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 Yo, speaking though about submissions, it was on the prelims card. That one submission, what his dude's name was Lee. I gotta look up his name.
Which one are you talking about? You talking about last weekend or this one
Yeah.
that just passed right now?
Yeah, the one that just passed right now.
Let's see.
His submission was crazy. The dude tried to hit him with a kick, grabbed his foot. There was a lot of fights, pretty much on that card. Everyone like pretty much grabbed the leg. Same thing with Figueiredo.
Lee Kwang.
Yeah,
Round
bro,
2
that
submission.
submission, nasty, bro. I don't know if y'all peeped that submission.
I did not. I'm about to throw on the highlight reel.
But that submission was a nasty one. He caught him early. He got his leg, took him down, and choked him out. He was telling the ref, he's like, he's out. He's out.
Yeah, he put him to sleep.
If he's telling the ref he's out, bro.
Yeah, he put this boy to
Yeah,
sleep.
he put him to sleep.
Oh, you see, yep, there goes for those of you listening right now. Obviously, you can't even see the video either. But this guy, you can tell he just gets hunched over. There he is. He's asleep.
What's his
he's
first
asleep.
name? Lee what?
Lee Kwang. Lee Kwang.
That Lee.
Yo.
No,
His
Lee
name-
put him to sleep. What you mean?
Yeah, Lee, he put him to sleep. But yeah, that was a good one. That one, and also I want to also give a shout out to like the chick fight, the girl in all red. It was a couple fights right after that one.
Gotta get these names down.
I have to get these
How can we
names.
take the shots if you don't know the names?
I had the card pulled up, but she was dripped out in all red.
Dripped out in all red.
Or her whole hair was all red, and then her fit was red. And then she put the girl.
Oh, Jillian Robertson.
Yeah,
Yo, she's a beast.
She put the
Yo,
other
hold
girl
on,
up
hold on.
against
Hold on.
up against the cage and
You
just
gotta,
started.
you gotta watch her. She's somebody that's gonna fight for the title very soon. She has been on a tear recently.
She
She
was
started
nasty,
training
bro.
with Dean Thomas, and she is doing very well.
That
She's
one
somebody
was a
that
good
goes
one.
in there. She's going for the kill. She's going for the finish too. She's not just like these. I'm going for the decision, trying to get that win. No. She is killing.
I think that was
shorties,
also
bro.
second round. Does it show what round she
Yeah,
finished?
it is.
The
And then
second round?
she called it too beforehand. She said that she's gonna she wants to go for a submission, but she's probably gonna end up getting a second round.
Bro,
TKO.
she put her at the edge of
She-
the octagon, the cage, and just started
piecing her
ground
up.
pound. Yeah, bro.
Unfortunately, that was she ended up beating Marina Rodriguez, and that was her last fight in the UFC. So shout out to her for fighting in the UFC for as long as she did. She gave us a lot of good fights. She had hands. I feel like if you want to see some entertaining fights, I would say most of her fights that she's been in has been entertaining. She's a dog. She goes out on her shield. I don't think I've ever seen her really like give up. She's usually one that like she has her losses, but if she's losing, she's in like some sort of gunfight. You know what I mean?
Hell
So
yeah.
I shout out to her, and I love when people retire in a way that they're like proud of their career rather than just getting retired and getting out like mad.
Yeah,
Her
exactly.
post-fight speech was really like she was
Did
happy.
Anthony Smith retire yet?
Anthony
Smith
Smith is
retired
another
too.
retiree. I feel like we should
he
have
did?
that like thing where it goes black and white.
Yeah,
and we put the
they
photo.
showed him the video clip at the end.
God damn.
So
Yeah, for real.
I was at home watching the fights, but then I had like left the room for a little bit and I missed the whole like package. So I still got to go and watch that. But I was told that it.
remember that shit.
No,
Everybody
they
was
gave
like-
him his props. It was dope.
Everybody
was
said
dope.
that it was like, when I say everybody, I mean like obviously Twitter and whatnot. They were saying that it was like a lot for Anthony Smith. Like they were like, listen, we understand he's been here for a minute, but that like champions have retired that didn't get that much love.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. It
I
was
don't
dope.
remember something for Stipe.
I don't know, not like that.
Not like that, right?
Well,
Nah.
not like that. Nah. But then again, within that fight, I'm pretty sure it was within that fight. Like once your mouth guard goes off, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Didn't that happen within the Anthony Smith fight? I think someone's mouthpiece went flying.
Yeah, I mean, usually that's a bad indicator. You're not really like holding
Yeah,
up your head really well or clenching your jaw, trying to make sure you're not getting smacked around, I'd say. So,
Yeah.
all right. So, my pick is for Belal Muhammad against JDM. I think that Belal is probably going to take it. I'm going to go with like a round 3 TKO. I don't know about a flush KO, but I see TKO. I just think that these boys are going to dog it out. I feel like there's going to be like a bit of a scrap. I can see some grappling exchanges getting into clinch, but I see like Belal really trying to make a statement and trying to get that finish. Because like at the end of the day, I understand that he's already the champion and it's a thing of like maintaining it, but also you want those pay-per-view numbers. You want people to tune in. You don't want your
gotta win
name
the
to
people.
be thrown
You gotta
on.
win the
and
people
you
now.
got to win the people. And like you
Yeah,
don't want to
true.
end up in a situation where like you're and again, the nickname just sucks because you don't want to be forgotten either. You know what I mean? Like, here's my thing. You can be a champion, but it's rare that you retire a champion. So you can have a situation where, like, Belal does have a good reign. He can have 5 to 6 title defenses or something like that under his belt. But he ends up losing or something like that, retires along the way. But people forget because it wasn't anything exciting. But then when you go back, you dig through the crates and you look at the stats, you're like, oh, this dude was actually killing it. But, you know what I mean? It wasn't anything that was too exciting where you don't remember the name, where he's like knocking dudes out.
It's
and
not
doing-
like a crazy highlight.
Right, like he's
I
not an
got you.
Israel Adesanya who, like, right now is not the champion, but you're still gonna be excited to watch his fights because you know they're gonna be exciting. You know what I'm saying? No, I would still say most people would tune in to watch an Izzy fight any day.
They would, but just
Disappointed.
lately, yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
My
Valentina.
parlays, Izzy. My parlays.
I know somebody in the
Cash
trash.
at me, Izzy.
Cash App, he's crazy. Moving on, we got Valentina Shevchenko versus Manon Fiorot for the flyweight championship. This one is one that's been one in the waitings. I would say not really for Valentina Shevchenko. I don't think as many people are. How do I word this? People are used to her being the champion, so I think that this is one where they're like, I bet, yeah, she's fighting again. Cool, you know what I mean? Like, there's not really a whole lot of buzz with her. But whereas, like, Manon, if you've been watching, like, I feel like she's one that you've been waiting for her to get a title shot. She's beaten the name she needed to beat. She's been doing her thing, and now she finally gets her shot. So I'm excited to see this one. I think that Valentina has an interesting spot to be in. She's older, not in the sense that she's old. She's still very sharp in her game, but I feel like she's got to make a statement of like, no, I'm still with this. You know what I mean? Like she was able to snag the title back from Alexa Grasso, but it's time for her to show that like I'm still dominating as a champion. You want her to be on that like Amanda Nunes type level where it's like, oh, who's getting fed to Valentina this time? Like, you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. So I think she's looking to put somebody in a body bag so she can like really prove a statement. So we'll see if Manon has what it takes. I feel like she has a lot of skills and she's got the grit to be able to like stand in there with a dogfight with Valentina, but I think Valentina is going to be too much in too many areas for her. Like, let's say Valentina feels danger in striking. Boom, we're hitting you with the grappling. We're going for takedowns. I'm sweeping the leg, something like that. So, I don't know. I feel like I got Valentina in this one. What do you guys think?
I also
Yeah.
got Valentina.
Yeah, I'll give it to her too.
Just off the fact that like,
It's a hunger.
yeah, she was she wanted that belt so bad.
Mm-hmm. She felt like she got robbed. It was that whole thing where she was like, I'm not fighting anywhere where there's, I don't want to say this too crazy, but she basically like, in my opinion, she was like, I don't want to fight anywhere where there's too many heavy on the Mexican if I'm fighting a Mexican fighter. Because I feel like it's going to get swayed in the other way around. Because that's what she felt when she fought Alexa Grasso and the draw went to the other way. She felt like she got played. So
It usually ends up that way.
she was like, why don't we go fight? We go fight in my neck of the woods. I was like, I don't like this kind of conversation coming from you, Valentina. Why don't we cut back on that one?
She's not
Yeah, I
wrong
want my
either,
own
though.
judge. Yeah, it kind of be like that when it comes to like wherever the location
Cartel,
is.
fucking,
I don't
Well, yeah, true. Like,
fucking
at the end of the day,
fix a whole boxing match.
would you rather fight a judge or fight the cartel? Like,
Yeah.
We'll debate this
Yeah,
later.
but she's saying
It really is more so like even without.
she's
like,
saying
shit
stuff
getting
like that about
fixed,
being in like Phoenix, Arizona. You know what I mean? Like she's saying
the
like
energy of the crowd is very biased. Like it's they have an advantage. Just it's like if I fought a Russian or Mexican,
when you fought, you mean in your previous professional fighting
well,
career.
it's like when I fought
Back in my bare knuckle days.
in DR, right?
Yeah.
And it was like some Russian or German, you know what I'm saying? Something random like that. Of course, the people gonna be on my side. I'm gonna get the advantage off the energy.
Yeah. You still won that fight though.
Yeah,
I was there.
But it was really mostly energy. If I didn't get the energy from the crowd, I wouldn't have been able to tap into Super Saiyan 4.
Yeah, the Dominican power. You feel me?
And that Valentina knows
Yeah,
with that energy against her.
That Mangu.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Valentina might lose against that energy.
I can see that too. I feel like
Location,
there's
area means it, like our crowd makes a huge difference.
I mean,
for
they're in
fighters.
Montreal, Canada. They're mad French over there. I mean, inferior. That's French.
But
Big French.
French, or not French. I would say the Canadians. They're happy for anybody who's fighting. Right?
No, but this is French Canada territory. This is they speak French
I know
heavy.
Hispanics are
And
very
they speak French
proud
first.
as hell.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we just gonna rock with them, regardless.
I think that this is going to be an interesting test, man. I don't know. There's been this like breath of fresh air, I'm going to say, with all this like new like crowd of fighters that have been taken over. I feel like this is another step where we may see Valentina step
we
down.
can really see who's going to show out
The new
nowadays.
era is like happening in front of us.
Yeah, exactly. We're seeing who's really going to stand up.
I mean, we were talking about it earlier, like you said. It's like weird to see, like, you feel like you're getting older. You see these people retiring, but like, you see also these fighters are like, man, they're at the top level of their game, but like, it's just hard to compete with age.
Yeah.
It's just really hard. Like you see,
Even the youngest one in the UFC, Chiwewe,
yeah.
can't even do it, bro. His last fight, like it was tough to watch his fight, bro. I thought he was about to get submission.
I mean, it's a weird thing. That's why they say that like 30, 31, 32 is like the sweet spot. That's like the prime of this game specifically, because it's like you have the most experience, you're at your athletic prime, this, that, and the third. So like you should be the best at this point. As you get into like the 35 and whatnot, that's when you start hearing the stats of like you're not really winning titles as much, your like body starts declining, whatever it might be.
Exactly, because your body can only take so much. Once you start taking injuries, like right now, we'll speak on like, for example, Figueiredo.
Yep.
With that knee injury.
That was a little different. That one was.
But I'm saying, do you think
that was on purpose? That was not like a he's just old thing.
No, I'm not saying that he's just old, but even just injuries alone, like I'm saying, your body can only take so much. When you're younger, I feel like you can heal a lot quicker. I don't know what it is, but once you're older within the sport, already aching, and then on top of that, getting a knee injury, do you feel like he would be fighting again, or do you feel like he's gonna be like, after this injury, you know what, that's it for me. I'm just gonna rest.
Most cases they do steroids or something.
I mean, but that's the thing, though, is that like if you go that route, which you technically can, he just has to be out of the testing pool for a while. So then you also got to talk about adding more time away, besides just the healing process. I guess depending on what the acai bowl, it might
He got a Brazilian doctor. He good.
It might depend on what it is that your healing time looks like. It might be more beneficial for you to be like, all right, let me get out of the testing pool, go do some crazy over there, and then get better and get back to it. But I don't know. I feel like with him, he's on the older side, so I feel I just think that title shot might be gone. I think
That's why I
that
think steroids is your only option.
Nah. And you know what they should do? They should get rid of the BMF and have just a steroid division.
Yeah.
we keep talking about
The
that.
BMF should be a steroid belt.
You'll probably just
roid them up, bro. We want to see with the best fighters with the best, drugs that science can make.
Yeah.
Fight against each other, bro.
I think you'll
If
see
they're willing to
another
take it
like
against their free
division or
will.
something like that. You'll see
fighters and shit.
Yeah,
exactly. You'll see another like organization pop up that'll start doing something like that for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you got like the dirty boxings, you got the bare knuckles. I can see another organization pop up that's like, no, we don't test.
Yeah.
Test for what? For who?
It's WWE.
Yeah.
We make sure they know what their name is and that they can write down their name on a contract. That's it. That's all we care about.
Like, I got a stamp. That works.
That works. Cool with me.
I'll take it.
Just some
I'll
fake
take it.
records.
Yeah.
A squad of
Good to
Zangiefs
me.
pulling up, just
Yeah.
voided up, just like I'm ready.
Yeah.
We're with that.
Run it.
I'm with that. All right. So after that, we got Jose Aldo and Ayman Zahabi.
Crazy.
Why is he still fighting?
Crazy.
Why is he still fighting?
I was about to ask the same thing.
Is he
Don't
still
make sense
fighting?
to me.
He retired. No. Didn't we have this conversation
He
twice
retired
already?
Twice, right?
Yeah, I don't know,
Yeah.
man.
Anthony Smith had his whole thing. Aldo had his thing too.
He doesn't get another one.
He doesn't.
He doesn't get another one.
just
He can probably just use the same
Whenever
one.
he decides to, you know, at this point, all right, hear me out. I would
that
go as
same
far as to
video.
say he doesn't get to put the gloves down again.
Yeah.
If you're gonna retire, it's a post on Instagram
Yeah,
because
exactly.
you can't double dip.
Yeah.
Gonna disappear.
There's a meme that's used all the time of him crying, getting inducted into the Hall of Fame, like running and jumping so excited. You can't retire again. You don't get another one.
That's the full retirement.
Yeah, he has to go to
Re-inducted
boxing
into the
or
Hall of Fame and everything.
PFL. I don't know, something else, bro.
That's why we had. I remember this conversation because I remember bringing up the
This
point that
all
they should
stopped.
do it where it's like you have to be like 4 or 5 years removed and then you get inducted in the Hall
Yeah.
of Fame. You can't be
Yeah.
4 weeks
That's how it
removed.
is in other sports.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't just right away.
Well, that's what he did. They threw him in there right away, and then immediately he came back. I feel like he did like it felt like 2 or 3 boxing matches outside of the UFC, and then came immediately back
How
to the
was it with
UFC.
Nunez?
What do you mean?
Amanda Nunez.
She got inducted, but she's been gone now. I think over a year and a half.
But her, I would be okay with seeing back.
Wait, so it was only a year and a half?
That she's been gone.
Yeah, and
think
she's
it's like-
already
Yeah,
been
well,
inducted
she-
into the Hall of Fame.
She retired, and yeah, she got. Well, she hasn't been fully inducted. Well, I guess. Yeah, they announced that she's going to be inducted. I
Oh,
should
okay.
say that's the way I should word it to be real specific.
But yeah, I'd rather see her. I'd rather see her fight one more time at least.
I mean,
At least 3 years.
I feel like 3 years makes sense because then you can go do something else, and then maybe you get the itch, and it gives you enough time to get a camp to
Yeah.
come back.
1 year
3
is
years, fine.
crazy. Like
Yeah, 1
anybody
year's
will
pretty
come
crazy.
back after 1 year.
Well, that's my thing.
Not
Is also
Conor.
like what
Not
happens.
Conor.
You need,
Yeah.
Trying, but
What happens when you need the bread?
Yeah, exactly.
You need the bread, and you need to come back. You need the contract. Uncle Dana.
the IRS gets you.
Uncle Dana, hit me up. Let me know. Yeah.
You know that's
What's
some
good,
laundered money over there.
I feel like real quick they'll come back, but that's what I'm saying. Like give them like 3-4 years removed, and then you can induct whoever you would like into the UFC Hall of Fame, and then if they decide to come back after that, put them in the Roid League. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Roy Lee. Let's get Chuck Liddell fucking off the yak. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
off the yak.
Let's get him in there. Like,
Chuck Liddell off the yak.
yeah. It's on steroids and back in there. Like, we'll get like Vitor Belfort. We get him back on the steroids.
Well, then I guess Connor could come back.
Yeah.
Again, as I guess
That's what I mean. Like, now
Oh.
this is the chance we get Connor back.
a
off
recent
steroids.
Who else was he gonna fight? What's this dude's name? He put him up in there too.
Chandler?
No, not Chandler. Dude who just got inked out. How am I forgetting his name right
Dan
now?
Hooker.
Hooker.
Dan Hooker.
Hooker's another one.
I
on
think
steroids,
yo
right?
imagine
He
though.
broke his-
He
Hooker-
fights at
Hooker-
so
Hooker
so. What do we think? He
wired.
fights at 155. What do you fight at 185 on roids?
I think so because he was.
Is he,
yeah,
you
was
got to think
different.
about. I'm going with what you walk around at. You probably add like muscle to that.
Yeah.
So if you're at 155, I feel like most of them walk around like 170 to maybe even 180, depending on who you
Yo,
are.
did you guys see the Joe Rogan podcast with him and Taporia when they were talking about like the weight class? Like,
Yeah.
yo, just get rid of that. What
Yeah.
are your thoughts on that?
I like the idea. I think it makes sense because like I feel like weight cutting does kind of mess with you, and I also think it's weird that like,
I agree.
for example, like we can be like, all right, bet we're gonna fight at 200 pounds or something like that, and then
Yeah.
we're like, I bet sign off on that. On that day that we have to weigh in, we both weigh in at 200 pounds. The next day we walk into the cage to fight.
220.
I'm 220, you're 245, or vice versa, whatever it might be. And
Yeah,
either
why I gotta be 245?
because I had to throw it out there.
yeah, I'm
Uh,
joking. Go
But
ahead.
yeah, it'd be some shit like that where it's
Yeah.
like it's unfair. Like you look at an Alex
Yeah.
Pereira, you look at a DDP, like these guys that you're like, bro, there ain't
Well,
no way you're 185. And then they step into the cage, and you're like, yo, you weighed him this morning, bro. That dude is 230. Yeah, that guy's 225.
What's
You're like, what kind of shit
what's
are
the
you
time
talking
frame
about?
between like the weigh-in between the fight? Isn't it like
It's like
a couple
20.
weeks?
It's like 24 hours. No, the weigh-in and the fight. It's like 24 hours, bro.
Nah,
they weigh, so they
24
weigh
hours?
they weigh in on Friday and they fight on Saturday.
That's crazy. That's
That's
crazy.
what I'm
That's
saying.
crazy because you cut so much for the weigh-in.
That's
and your
another part
body's,
of it.
Like
It's
feeling weak.
That's
and
why
then put
Ilya.
that on that weight. Yeah.
That's why Ilya moved up. That's the
Yeah.
same reason as why he moved up. You're so unhealthy.
It's just
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah.
It puts you through a lot, man.
Yeah.
the organs might fail. It's like,
Yeah,
You see
because
people
you-
collapse.
Exactly.
How many
'cause-
times have you seen someone look like a skeleton up there?
Yeah. You need that mango.
yeah, you definitely.
What is it? 145 Connor. That was a scary looking
That
guy.
was disgusting.
That was a bag of bones.
Mm-hmm.
That was disgusting.
It was not good. That's why I think that I'm cool with them getting rid of the weight classes.
Yeah.
I'm cool with them like not wearing.
Obviously,
Weight
don't.
cutting is-
Here's my thing. It's not. Then you have somebody that's 120 pounds find somebody that's 220 or whatever.
No,
it may be.
still fight
It'll be
within
like-
certain weights, but not weight cutting.
'Cause then there's
as
also-
much.
Right.
Joe Rogan on that same episode throughout the thing, and he's said this multiple times of having like more weight classes. I only think that that's a little weird. You'd have to then fill those rosters, and then you would.
Every 5.
Are you gonna have more belts? Are you gonna have
35
people be
or-
multiple champions in
Oh,
multiple divisions?
What's the weight that you wouldn't want to fight someone over 10 pounds? Or
I feel like that makes sense because you got to think about it this way:
'cause
it's
10 pounds is
155,
is the difference.
jump to 170, jump to 185.
More.
Yeah,
Boxing has it.
yeah. There's a lot of belts in boxing. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of different belts, a lot of different weight classes.
How many people are you gonna have fighting?
A lot of people.
That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of fucking people. Like, you already have an issue with like superstars. You think you're gonna just throw in 30 more people or however many more people you're gonna have these weight divisions, and you think they're gonna be a bigger star now? No, you're gonna have 900 people on a roster, and like you're gonna know 7 names.
Survival of the fittest.
Yeah,
You
it's gonna be
already
all
have the
problems
issue
and
where you
shit.
have these influx of people that are like coming in from other countries, and maybe over there they're very well known, but here they're not. So I feel like I don't
Yeah.
really know what you're gonna do with all that kind of stuff, man.
Yeah,
I like the idea of having more weight divisions and more weight classes, but at the same time, I feel like you got to structure it. Maybe you add like 2 or 3 more.
I would say keep the
between the big
classes,
ones.
but not the weight cutting.
But
like-
no, but that's the thing. That's the class. The class is based off the weight. What do you mean?
But like if you know, instead of cutting
Stay at
20
stay at what you walk at.
exactly.
But then he that's what I'm saying. He said keep the class, but get rid of the weight. But the class is the weight.
No, get rid of the weight cutting. So basically, whatever
you
you're
would-
comfortable walking around with, make sure you're that weight for that fight.
But that's what I'm saying. But like, you would then have to add more weight classes because that's what I'm trying to get you to understand. Like, you have to look at like 155, for example. Like a Michael Chandler may be like a big bulldog or whatever it might be when his like weight is like whatever. But then you have to understand that there's dudes that are like tall because him and like Dan Hooker, for example, they fight in the same weight division.
Yeah.
Dan Hooker's a much taller guy.
Yeah,
he
is.
may when he's walking around be a lot bigger than Michael Chandler might be in weight. So then you wouldn't have them fighting. Now
They
you would
wouldn't,
have
no. He
you
would
would
just
have Dan
jumps
Hooker
up to-
fighting the 185ers or whatever it would be. But you got to look at the 185ers. The 185ers don't always walk around at 185. Izzy was 185 champ, walked around like 195 at very most.
Everybody
just moves up. Then. That's all it is.
DDP is
Everybody
185
just
champ,
moves
and he
up a
walks
bit.
around at 220 plus pounds. You're not having these guys fight anymore. And then again, look at the 220.
gonna have to
You
be
look at him,
heavyweight.
then you got to look at who he's
Yeah.
fighting. It just throws a wrench in everything.
No,
You
no.
just move
It's literally-
everybody.
it's literally just-
more heavyweight.
No, it's just adding.
A lot
it's just,
more
It's
heavyweights.
just adding exactly 1 or 2 more heavyweight belts, and then that's it.
I feel like it would just. I think if anything, you throw in like 1 or 2 more divisions in between like lightweight and like light heavyweight.
extra heavyweight, since it's USA.
Yeah,
Super heavyweight.
Yeah.
there should be a 195.
Large fry heavyweight. Yeah, you feel me?
There should be like a 195, something like that.
That's where I would go.
You gotta think about it. Like 185 to 205, I feel like is a big jump.
Yeah, it is.
You don't have a lot of guys. All right, Alexa Grasso versus Natalia Silva is next up on the dock. All right, so this was going to be an interesting one because now you got Alexa Grasso who's fighting earlier than Valentina Shevchenko. She's like, yo, that was my belt. I want that back.
Actually a good friend of mine.
How good?
No, not
What
like
you mean by that?
Like, not just a good friend.
What you mean by that?
I've met her before.
Oh, bees, BMFs don't man.
All right,
That's all it is.
I guess she's officially sponsored by Uneducated MMA.
So we're going for Alexa on this one.
All right,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
He
it
says
is,
it
bro.
with such confidence. I feel it's the first I'm hearing of it.
It is,
All right, I
hey.
guess we'll go with that one. Yeah, this is an interesting one because she's another one that is like, I would say she's younger, but getting into that older camp in terms of the fighters. I feel weird speaking about like people getting old. I don't know. I feel rude. It's like they're like 35 and you're like these old motherfuckers. And it's like nah, not
Nah,
really.
it's cool because you can say it about guys, but once you say a woman's age, and it's like
It's kind of how I feel right now, man. It's kind
I
of
didn't say that.
It's kind of how I
Juan
feel
said
right now.
that.
That's what you're like.
Juan said that. I didn't
Juan
say
can
that.
lead this conversation.
Yeah, go ahead.
Throwing me under the bus.
Go ahead, in case you meet her up.
No, but I feel like so with her right now, she's in the same kind of camp where I feel like it's like shit or get off the pot. You know what I'm saying? Like if she's not gonna be a dominant person to be able to give you a reason to go back for a title shot and get that belt back, she may find herself in a position where she's about to get beat by Natalia Silva, again, the young blood, and then see if she ends up getting left on the wayside.
She ain't gonna get beat.
She's going to make a tap. That's on God.
We'll see. Natalia Silva, I don't know if you've been watching her fights, but she's been putting the mitts on people and she's been doing work. So she's a very, very hungry contender, and I feel like this might be a big.
He's like, damn.
I'm not saying she's a world beater. I'm not saying that she's somebody that I think Alexa has everything in the world that she has to be able to beat her. But it's one of those things she better show up that day.
Valentina.
Yeah.
Well, we might see that. We may see that
Because but they already had a trilogy, right?
Yeah.
I don't like quads.
Yeah. Trilogies is enough.
That's enough for sure.
Trilogies is
But
enough.
how does she get her belt back?
So then you would have Valentina win, or either. Honestly, with Valentina and Manon, it doesn't matter. Either one wins, and then as long as Alexa, I feel like, has a dominant enough win here, she has a title shot. It's tricky. Again, we had the same conversation with some weight classes and a lot of like the women's divisions. You don't really got to do a lot to get a title shot. I feel like in some of the women's divisions, there's like 4 people you got to worry about. And as long as you're one of the 4, win one fight, and you're back in there.
You think if of course, if both of them win, Alexa wins, Valentina wins, they'll do a 4th?
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah, I think so.
I feel like with most
Fuck
people,
it, they're the only ones here.
That's what I'm saying.
this is the only one there. I mean, I'm
yeah.
looking at it right now, and Alexa is the number 1 contender, so she wins, she gets another title shot. Why not? Like, genuinely, there literally is
Keeps
no
on
one else.
going, it never ends. It's back and forth.
Let's
I
see.
like that.
It's Alexa,
Rivalry.
Manon, Erin Blanchfield, Macy Barber, and Natalia Silva. So I can see if Alexa wins, she gets her title shot again. Manon is about to fight for the title. Erin Blanchfield is somebody who I can definitely see getting a title shot soon. So like she'd be in there. And same thing with Macy Barber. She's also really good. Rose Namajunas, what's going on? Figure it out. Get it together. Everybody else in the weight
She
class.
needs to just get into like an
Kinda there.
action movie and be a villain.
Yeah, that's exactly what we need.
That's she did what she had to
Is
do.
it the shaved head?
Yeah.
Is that
He's
why?
like, yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
He's actually she leans towards the villain because she's got a
100%.
shaved head.
Like Juntao.
Juntao. I get that. And then
I'm trying to think. I don't know any heroes with the shaved head.
Yeah.
not really, no. Usually there's a save for like the bad guys. Well, I guess what would you consider a Vin Diesel in the Fast franchise?
Well, he goes
There's
against the law.
There's that one movie where he's I guess a
He's
bad guy.
our hero, but he goes against the law.
That's just big dog.
That's
Yeah.
just Big Dog.
I guess him and The Rock too.
Yeah.
And then to wrap up,
Tyrese. There's a lot of bald people.
there's a lot of bald people, but they're all like good in the eyes of the way you watch the movie. But I get what you mean. I get what you mean. And then unfortunately, the opener of the fight. I know we went main card, whatever. The opener of the fight, Benoit Saint-Denis versus Joel Alvarez. Technically up in the air because Joel Alvarez is out.
He's pronouncing everybody's name on point,
Very
bro.
well.
Yo, I'm listening to the way
spoken.
John Anik
Good
pronounces them, and I copy and paste because if there's anybody that's gonna get it right, it's that guy. So as long as you
man.
hear
And
him
you.
say it, I
Both
just
of you.
copy paste. But yeah, so right now Joel Alvarez is out of the fight. So we don't know. I mean, this is a couple days away. Do we think that BSD is getting a replacement opponent, or do we think it's just gonna kind of get thrown away?
He's most likely going to get a replacement.
It's a hand injury too, so I don't see this getting like rescheduled
Exactly.
for a week or 2 away. I think
Nah.
this is gonna be he's getting rebooked. If
Yeah, he's
anything,
most likely going to get a replacement.
yeah.
But who would you consider him to fight?
I don't know. I mean, I saw something earlier that Mateus Gamrot was like, "Yo, I'll swing with you right now," and that immediately got shut down. So I feel like, I mean, dude,
That's the
it's tricky because it's like it's a few days' notice, but at the same time, I feel like you want to take a fight because you want you to keep your name up there, especially because he has not had the best record as of right now, sitting at number 13, Benoit Saint-Denis. I mean, nobody above him is going to really try. Joel Alvarez was ranked number 15, so that was the guy who he was supposed to fight. Unless Grant Dawson is up for the task and wants to try to fight and take his number 13 spot, I see him maybe fighting an unranked fighter who's just miscellaneous because
But that's the
pretty
thing,
low.
like, because if I've been training and I'm ready to fight,
Moicano in there.
Moicano already beat him up.
yeah,
Moicano beat the brakes off that boy. But kind of
so he's hoping any other
wanted
name.
money that day. You were saying?
No, I'm like, if I've been training and I'm ready to fight
Yeah.
that day, like, yo, I've been training, I've been working my butt off for this moment. This is a date that I'm ready to fight. And my other person who I'm training or I'm supposed to fight has an injury, I'm still going to fight. Put whoever you want on that day because I've been training.
That's what I feel like you should do, but a lot of people, I mean, it's tricky when you're in the top 15. I would say it depends more when you're in the top 10.
Yeah,
top 5, top 10 for sure. Top 5 for 100%.
Yeah.
But you got to be careful of who you pick and choose because there's a chance you could lose. And again, BSD now, to my knowledge, has lost, I think, 2 straight. So.
But then again, you haven't been training hard enough, bro, because.
Go harder.
Exactly. BMF knows. Like, bro, whoever it is, I'm training to win. I'm not training specifically to fight this opponent. Yeah, you might watch his tapes of whoever you're about to fight, but I'm training to win.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks this dude got an injury, but fill somebody else in because I'm hungry.
You got to have that mentality, and I feel like you got to be secure enough in your skills that you're like, no, I'm a fighter overall. Like, it doesn't matter who it is, I'll fight him. I mean, look at Moicano stepped in to fight Islam on a short notice. He's like, we ball.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know this guy, though.
Yeah, it don't matter, bro. If it's within the weight class, it makes sense. Obviously, if you're going to throw someone crazy, different weight class, yeah, let me think about it.
Yeah.
But if it's within the weight class, I don't care who it is. I'm a fighter. I'm here to fight. I've been training.
Yeah, that's why I like Islam's mentality of like, I'm the best 155er on the planet.
Exactly.
Any 155er you put in front of me, I will beat.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter. Granted, now you have the stipulations of Ilya's now 155er. He's a 145er.
He's like,
who moved up to 155.
He's like, who else should I fight?
Yeah. Doesn't count.
No, but he said he was down to fight him too.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see. That one is really interesting. It makes sense. I would want to see Topuria fight Islam.
It does.
How do you feel how they keep on doing Sarukian?
I think he did it to himself. I think that the UFC is very spiteful. I feel like if you don't make Uncle Dana happy, he will make you very unhappy very quickly. So the fact that Sarukian decided to back out with a back injury, and then there's all those videos of him doing neck rolls and all that kind of stuff. He's not the happiest with him right now.
It's crazy, like just to drop like that.
But it's just like, bro,
I still want to see the
fight. I
fight.
gave you the chance, and then you backing out this chance.
You heard that they offered him something, and he declined it.
Yeah.
You want your title shot.
You declined it, but then again, you declined us when we gave you the chance.
Bingo. I will tell you this, though.
He's going to wait.
He's in a good spot where he can either wait and get it, or he could fight, but
he's going to have to do probably 1, maybe 2 fights to get that chance.
If he fight, he just needs one. It doesn't matter. It can be a whack performance. He just needs one more win, and he can get it again.
2,
or
if it's a whack performance.
he could because I'm going to be honest with you, I think he's the number 1 contender right now, so he just has to wait.
It seems like either like they're going to try to get Topuria there. They're going to give Oliveira something before Sarukian.
Because that's where the entertainment comes in. You got to fill in the seats. I feel like they're definitely going to fill in more seats, make more money if they were to do Topuria. And,
well, that is an interesting point you bring up because now with this past weekend, you have the same thing with like Corey Sandhagen, who just beat Figgy, where he's like, put me in for a title shot. But then you have Jan, who also wants a title shot. And Jan has beat Corey, but then Corey has beat the people who beat Jan, and Corey would be a more exciting fight against either one of those guys. So it's like, who do you give the title shot to?
It's which one will fill more seats at their point. At that point, it would be who will fill more seats.
The ranking and entertainment thing, man.
Exactly.
It's such a weird.
It's a
weird thing to balance, man.
But like right now, and I always like to bring it up. I know you hate when I bring it up. Jones and Aspinall.
Yep.
That one has also been confirmed. That one is also
allegedly.
It was been confirmed.
Did you see UFC President and CEO Dana White announce the fight and the date?
No, but I did see that
it's not official.
Uncle Dana was like, he did say
to me.
He did say that is going to be the next fight.
Unless I see the whiteboard
Jones
behind him and he's like, "What's up, everybody?" I don't want.
I didn't see that part, but
it doesn't count.
I did see that he said that is going to be the next fight for Jones. It is going to be Aspinall, even though Jones wants Pereira or somebody else. Nah, he has to move up. It is going to be Aspinall.
I'm not gonna lie. I definitely believe it will happen, but if Alex won his last fight, I think that there would have been a chance that you would have seen Jones versus Alex.
And now Alex has to most likely do a rematch or try to move on up.
Oh yeah, who?
Uncle Ive was his last one.
You think it would be a rematch right away?
I think so.
For sure, a rematch.
I think so.
I think it's already in the
again?
books. I think they're probably going to fight later on this year, probably sometime in like the fall.
I don't know if I want to see it again, but
let that man get his gold back. He's deserved it. He's done enough for the sport. Let him get his gold back. He's done enough last minute, multiple time defenses.
But if Jones really wants to fight Pereira, he has to go through Aspinall.
He doesn't really want to fight him.
He
wanted an easy bag that would have made him a lot of money.
Exactly.
But the issue is that because Alex lost, it looks bad as like a record thing and a legacy thing. So like at this point,
it's the whole belt thing.
I think fans, casual, to all the way to the degree of like insane, deep head, like whatever you want to call them, like they want the Tom fight. I think most people
makes sense.
If Jones had retired a few months ago,
if he retired with Stipe,
nobody would have cared. Nobody would have cared.
Exactly.
Now that it's gotten in this thing of them going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, now
if he still wants to fight, it has to be Aspinall. If Aspinall's still fighting, that's what it is.
I just feel bad for him.
Bro,
Aspinall to keep him waiting this long.
Nah, that's Jones's game, bro. Jones be
well. I would say if anything, it's the UFC needs to strip Jones of the title and just announce that Tom is now the official undisputed champion. Because he's already. It's weird to me that you defend an interim belt.
Yeah,
that's weird.
So weird.
That's really weird.
Especially after all the people that Aspinall knocked out and beat. Like, nah, bro. While Jones was just chilling, sleeping, and then taking little fights here, like Cyril gone, and then Stipe. What was that? Like a year, almost 2 years apart.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, he's playing it smart. Like we were saying, if you're going to be in that top 5, he's the champ. You got to play it real smart. But you could also be a champ. Like, I'll fight anybody. I don't know. With him, I think he's just trying to make sure he preserves his legacy. So that way, it's like you don't have a he was great, but you don't want to hear that but part. You want to just hear he was great. And I think you would hear it anyway. But if you get smoked by somebody as his last fight, I don't think it's a good way to go out.
Just fucking retired on that one.
Yeah. With Stipe, he should have if he wanted to leave as a champ like that.
Yeah, I think that would have been.
I think it was too quick.
Nah, he would have been
maybe
fine.
Like the fact that he didn't fight in a while and then he got that little taste and then it ended. It's like, damn, I want more.
Nah, he would have been fine. Just like how this dude retired and everybody wanted him to fight another one. Oh my goodness, undefeated. You always say Khabib. I don't know. I forgot Khabib.
Yeah.
Khabib could do a couple. He could have done like 2 more fights. But after everything what happened with his pops, he didn't want to fight no more. He was like, nah, that's it. I'm done. He literally could have done a couple more fights and he would have been chilling. But he left. Good timing as champ. And Dustin Poirier said it himself. He was like, yo, I want to leave. Not when people are telling me like, yo, I'm too old to keep on fighting. He wants to leave or retire a couple years before that.
John Jones should have done.
Yeah,
I just think it looks so much better, man. If you retire, like it's one of those things you got to leave them wanting more. Like that's saying you got to leave them wanting more. When you retire and you look like you still got some left in the tank, you're like, good. Like,
perfect.
I don't know, man. You don't want to see, right? You don't want to. You just
clean, everything good.
You just don't want to see someone just getting like washed for the last couple, and I feel like you see too many people go out that way. Yeah, I get it that that's like the name of the sport, but like if you're gonna do that, at least it's like you giving it. I guess in this situation, the way you might happen, you're passing the torch to the younger guy. No, Tom.
That's a tough way to pass the torch.
It's a tough way to pass the torch, getting put to sleep. But
boy,
that's
here's the torch. Yeah.
Before we go to speak about passing the torch and getting put to sleep, we got 2 fights that I want to just bring up just to get the feels on it as early predictions or whatever it might be. So we already touched upon one of them. Dustin Poirier versus Max Holloway. Dustin Poirier's retirement fight for the BMF champion of the world.
Well, Ari's next after that one.
First and foremost, I want to say, Dustin Poirier, thank you
and
for that
don't
career.
retire.
Like, you're happy retired. Just please
Yeah.
This one is gonna be. I don't think anybody has anything bad to say
Well,
about
both
this fight.
of them are
He's gonna be like
set
all
to
those.
retire, right?
So
Holloway, you think
that's the
Holloway's
thing that
gonna
I've been hearing.
retire as
There's a
well?
rumor going around that Max Holloway might retire. And I don't know how true that might be. I feel like now that he's at 155, like he's got fun fights that
And
he
he got
wants to
knocked
do,
out.
and he'll just get paid.
Yeah,
And he's still
redeem
young.
That's it for me. Imagine the one knockout.
What's the age difference between both of them? Because both of them
Dustin
been in the game.
Dustin
in a
Poirier is,
minute.
I think, a few years older than him. I think
Yeah?
Dustin Poirier is like 4 or 5 years older than him.
Yeah.
And I think Max still has, I think, a few more years left. I think
All
he's probably going to stick around because you have to understand, he's only been knocked out once. He has had like a couple of wars, so he's got damage. I'm not going to say he doesn't, but at the same time, like him versus Charles Oliveira, like him versus Ilya again, just cause like him versus Justin Gaethje would be good. Like there's a
Another one.
couple of like pretty exciting. Honestly, a Max Holloway versus a
Then if he wins this one too.
Oh, you can if he ever comes back, like Conor McGregor, have that run that back again. I feel like that would be exciting. A Michael Chandler fight would be
Conor
exciting.
ain't coming
Like,
back.
all these, like I feel like there's a lot of fun fights for Max at 155, but
Chandler, I can see him fighting Chandler.
right, just fun ones. Him versus Dan Hooker would be another fun one. Like
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
just exciting fights that I think people would want to see. It's weird because it's like that's what you want the BMF
Yeah.
belt to stick around for, just so you can give it some unnecessary promotion. But
Yeah.
like
Just
life
keep it
happens.
for now until like if Dustin wins it and
That'd be beautiful.
They retire it with him. If Max wins it,
Keep it
keep
going.
it going
If
until it's a good time to
Here's
let it go again.
here's the messed up part is as much as it's like this is a BMF belt and you need it to end in like a knockout or a TKO, can it just end by decision? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let this be a point fight. You know what I mean?
It's not a BMF belt. That's why they should
I
change
don't want
the
to see the brain
BMF belt
damage, man.
to BMF knockout belt, and then just keep it passing around.
Son.
And then they
Stand
can,
up only. It's
No,
like
no,
it's
no.
like the UFC 5 mode where you just stand and bang. You just,
and
that's
then
it.
and then that belt can just be passed along with
Yeah.
the champion belt. Like
you can do
hey,
that.
I have the champion belt and the BMF knockout belt, and then that's it.
Yeah, I can see that.
And
That'd
then
be
whoever gets the other next best knockout, whether it could be in the prelims or somebody, an early, just a crazy knockout. Be like, damn, that was a crazy knockout. You know what? You deserve now the BMF belt until someone else gets a crazy knockout.
That is
And then
true.
just keep that moving.
I like that idea
Because
That's not a
that
bad
way
idea.
it builds up hype for that person.
Yeah.
It builds up hype for people wanting to do certain knockouts. You can still earn the championship belt, but if you do a crazy knockout, keep that belt moving.
Do you have 2 belts?
You have 2 belts. Keep that belt moving.
I like
And
that.
you get extra sponsorship on that BMF belt.
I like that. We're gonna.
Yo, let's do one more.
Hold on.
Cheers for
I
Cinco de
got.
Mayo.
We're gonna do that, but I got one more fight before we do that.
Go ahead. Break
I
it
got
down.
one more
Break
fight.
it down.
Joaquin Buckley
Ooh.
versus Kamaru Usman.
Ooh.
Joaquin Buckley's time is now.
Yes.
Buckley's
it
time is now.
It is.
I think he's gonna.
Duck if you buck. Yeah,
No,
you
fact,
should
I think
walk
it-
out with that song.
I think
bro.
he's gonna dust Usman. I think he's
He
gonna
is,
dust
bro.
Usman.
Usman's gonna retire after that fight.
Usman is good, man. He gave.
He's
Listen,
good
he-
at stomping on toes, bro.
No. Listen. Most recent fight, he gave
Usman's
Hamza
nice. I like
out the
Usman.
work. He gave Hamza out the
Usman
work.
is nice.
It was last minute notice, but he gave Hamza out
He
the work.
did,
I think
he
he's
did.
still in it. I think he's still good, but I think that Buckley's time is now.
Usman is like right with Adesanya to me, bro. They're both like literally.
Well, Adesanya, I also see retiring. I heard
see
that there's-
Usman retiring.
I heard that there's rumors that Adesanya's next fight is going to be against Sean Strickland, and then we
Yeah.
might see him just get that lick back, just because he's like, I'm not going out with having this boy have a win over me
Yo,
like that,
he
and then he
got
might just walk away.
Wipe that fight. I would not want to see
But
that.
to be fair,
That one
to
fight
be fair,
made me think Sean Strickland was the shit.
right? It made you think he was
Because
goated, right? Yeah.
Adesanya was scared all rounds. Bro.
Yeah.
It's not like, it was 1 or 2 rounds. Every round, he was like, I can't do nothing. He
Yeah.
just kept backing up, bro.
Yeah.
And Strickland was with his same move, punch, kick, punch, kick,
Yeah,
punch,
yeah.
kick.
Yeah.
And he got Adesanya.
I want
that
to see
fight,
it again,
bro.
just because, like, again, you look at the weight class, you look at who's won and who's lost against who. That's one that honestly it kind of makes sense, rank wise,
It does.
previous fight wise,
Yeah.
like
It
who
makes
they
sense for
won
both of
against.
them,
Yeah.
But do I want to see that? If it's gonna be the same thing like the last fight, no, I don't want to see it. I need Adesanya to turn into anime Adesanya.
He's not watching enough anime lately. I'll tell you
That's
that.
that's what I need. Anime Adesanya,
He needs to get back
and
to
then if he's like, if I see
Well, that's
something
why I
crazy
kinda wanna-
other than him and O'Malley working out, then I'll be like, yo,
That's why I want to see him fight Sean for that same reason, to get the anime out.
Yeah.
It's usually through somebody he really wants to fight. Who would you not rather fight than somebody who gave you a really embarrassing L?
Yeah.
He needs to wear the headband.
Nah, we need
Him
need
versus
a new Naruto
Pereira,
or
the 3
new
arrows and the whole
Bleach
thing.
or Dragon Ball Z to drop, because if not, I don't know. He
He doing those little hand signals they do in Naruto.
he need to do something.
do.
Yeah.
Like,
That is
yeah.
true.
He needs to do that entering the ring.
A dance routine again
Yeah,
when he
yeah.
comes
He's
out.
coming out too serious. I remember when he was winning, he was doing the little dances. He thought he was Undertaker once.
Yeah, bro. He was just flexible. He was in there.
That was when he fought Jared
When he's too
Cannonier. I remember that
serious,
one.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like
He
it.
had his name on the urn.
Yeah,
That's hard, son.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
hard, son.
And now he's just coming out just like calm, humble, afraid to lose again.
Yeah.
You think it's the same thing as like
After
they
a
said
couple,
with Conor
after
for
a
a while?
knockout, it's different, bro.
Not even the knockout. It's waking up in silk sheets.
That could be it too.
It's been a
bro.
while that he's been. People forget he was a multi-defending champion. He was that guy for a long time.
Yeah, the hunger is.
That's a
different,
lot of
bro.
money they pay you every time you
Like,
win,
when
bud.
Francis Ngannou started, the
He was
hunger is
fighting
different.
Austin.
Yeah.
Just like, for example, not even only UFC, just a lot of things, whether it be other sports or even like rap. Like, for example, I always say, like, I always wish Eminem was back in the trailer home. Like, the hunger for him rapping back compared to being
Your focuses
comfortable
change.
It's different.
It is what it is.
Like 50 Cent.
Like
Yeah.
as much as you, as
It's
it's like
chilling now.
as
but-
much as you don't want to say it, like even stuff like this, like right now, the love of the game is what pushes us to put these out as much as we do, have the fun and the energy. Wait until it gets to the point it's going to be where we have a whole production staff. Hopefully, we still have the same love for the game. We want to keep making it as great as possible. But like, you never know, man. Things get weird like that.
Yeah,
What you
then
get,
I'll be like, yo, tequila shot. Come on.
Right. You're like, hey, chop, 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 chop. But somebody else is not on the table no more. You know?
Oh,
You have
someone
an
else is
assistant.
under the table?
Somebody else is handing you the cards and whatnot. Yeah, all that kind of stuff. I feel like it's gonna be a weird day, man. But yeah, I feel like it's gonna be interesting to see with like those types of fighters that like they're no longer champions, but they're still like around. Like, what keeps you motivated? The Kamaru Usmans and whatnot. Like, what is it you're trying to prove, or do you just walk away from the sport? We'll see.
We'll see, man.
Before we head out, before we take this, I'd like to just give a couple of housekeeping notes. Everyone, please watching. First and foremost, thank you. We appreciate it. All the likes, the love, appreciate it. Please remember to like. Even you. I know you're watching right now. Yeah, you with the blue shirt. I see you. Yeah, please remember to like, share, comment, subscribe. Again, we want to hear you guys' opinions in the chat. Whatever you guys got. Please remember to also like, share, subscribe to 806 The Show, Sunday Conversations,
Keep it.
Heat Check, Nerd Gods, and any
All
other... straight to the point.
It's a vibe.
Any other podcasts that you guys see that are out here in the North Shore, we'd love to collab with. I love the show. Everybody love. You always see me posting other people's stuff whenever I see that anybody's doing their own thing. I love to support. Want to see the community grow. And with that, I'd like to say a happy Cinco de Mayo to everybody. A happy UFC 315 this weekend.
Yeah.
We're excited to
Or
be
should I say,
here.
ay, 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 ay?
And with that, salud, salud,
Let's get it.
salud.
Let's get it.
This has been another episode of Uneducated
Orale.
MMA. I'm your host with the most, Juan Bread. This has been the heavyweight champion and the BMF champion, REG. This has been Justin, and we are out. Peace.
Drop some bombs on